Welcome to our new broadcast, rather imaginatively titled 5-Minute Data Studio Lessons. Every week, or maybe more frequently, myself or one of the many data geeks in the industry will come and give you a quick hands-on lesson in Data Studio. The aim is to get you up and running with this platform even more quickly. So, to start off the series, I'm going to give a quick lesson on how to pull through age data from Google Analytics. So, let's get to it.
Okay, so we've launched a brand new Data Studio report here, and the first thing we have to do, is title it. Let's do test report, and let's add some data. So go here to add data. Now, Google Data Studio comes with default data sets, which is really handy, and we want to use Google Analytics here. So if we go to My Data Sources, we should have in our list Google Analytics data sample. So we can click this, and geez, if you want to show that again, but add it to the report. Okay, when that comes through, we've got some default data there, and you can see here this is clearly the channels coming to the site. Now, we don't want to look at channels, we want to look at age, which I think is a better example for this demo. So let's go to medium, and let's put in age, and that's our dimension. And we don't want sessions as a metric, we actually wanted users. That's working. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the ages don't run concurrently very well there. So visually, we'd kind of want to do this by age. It would make more sense. It would make sense for those to be in the right order. So let's go down here, and we can see that the sorting is done by users, which makes sense, but we don't want it for this graph. So we want to sort it by age. And I think aesthetically, we would have it the other way around. Okay, that's the right way now. Okay, that's working. And now the next thing we'd like to do is we have a number of users in each group, but what are the percentages? So to do this, we create a new metric. So go add metric, and we want to create a field. Now I'm going to call this users percentage. And then I'm going to type a very basic formula. And the way we do this is start typing, and you'll see this will come up for you. Users divided by 100. Green tick, that's good. And we want that to be a percentage. Now, if we OK that, we've got some percentages. Now, that isn't terribly useful, as you can see. We've literally taken that and made that percentage. Now, what we need to do to make that more interesting is we need to have that as a percentage of the total. So out of all our users in these groups, what is the percentage that we have? And the way we do that is providing a base metric. So let's go here and do show summary row. Now we can start to see the grand total. So the grand total of users, 46,833. Now the problem with that is that even with my basic maths, I can see that that does not add up to 46,000. So what's happening there is that Google Analytics is counting the total number of users, and it's not able to put these into these buckets. So there'll be certain users, or a lot of users, that it won't be able to classify correctly. So what we want to do for the sake of this visualization is to eliminate all the data that is not being classified correctly. And the way we do this is with a filter. So let's go down here and add a filter. And we're going to call this filter age filter. Not very inspired, but there you go. And we're going to exclude within age anything that is not being classified. Okay, that looks a lot better. So we've got 19,000 there, which actually looks pretty good for that data set. But our percentages are all over the shop. So how do we sort these out? Let's go back to our formula, click the FX, and we want a comparison. And our comparison here would be percent of total relative to the base data. That looks good. Okay. Now, what else would we do to this chart to make it slightly better? Well, I'd quite like to add a comparison date range. So if we go into here, let's have it comparing to the previous year. Just give it a few more columns. Now we can see 7.4, 7.4, because these numbers are essentially the same, one's a percentage, one's an absolute number, these percentages are going to be the same. So we don't need to have both those columns. So let's go into Style. And if we scroll down, we can choose to take one of them out. There you go. Now I think the final things I would do with this table is I would remove row numbers because that's not really needed. And let's do a bit on the aesthetic side. We could create a table header and we could even color alternate rows. There you go. That's how to visualize your demographics in a very simple Data Studio report. I hope that's useful, and hopefully we're going to have a lot more tips for you over the next few months. Okay, thank you. Bye.